Hey everybody, so here's an uncomfortable question. If you're 25 years old and you want to become a millionaire for your retirement, how much do you think you should be investing every month starting right now? I can guarantee you that number in your mind is way bigger than the actual number, and the reason for that is because majority of people believe that becoming a millionaire involves having some crazy salary or writing some crazy stocks, but it doesn't. It simply means doing some math, being consistent, and having some time. And in this video, I will show you exactly how much money you should be investing at the age of 20 years until the age of 45 in order to become a millionaire in your retirement. And in the end, you will either feel relieved because the number is smaller than what you imagined, or you're going to feel a sense of urgency because you have waited too long enough. Let's get into it. So before getting into the numbers, let's talk about the variable that has the biggest impact on this calculation, which is simply time. Compound interest is essentially the return that the market pays you for leaving your money alone. And the longer you leave your money alone, the higher the return. And because this happens gradually and you can't really see it right away, most people greatly underestimate the effectiveness of compound interest. Think of it as planting a tree. For the first few years, you're not really seeing any growth. You planted a stick in the ground, and it really looks like it could be the last tree you've ever planted for all intents and purposes. But you give it 20 years, and that little sapling is casting a big shadow over your backyard. The parallels to investing are obvious, because that's essentially what compound interest is, the tree in the ground that you've planted with your cash. So let's look at some numbers, and let's be clear that these numbers are very conservative, and that we're assuming basically a flat market growth of 8% annually, because the market does a lot better. Obviously, right, like the S&P 500 can do 10 to 11% over long stretches of time, but also has bad years. So this is not financial advice, but it's illustrative of how the math works. So if you are 20 years old right now and you want $1 million in the bank by the age of 65, you need to invest roughly $200 per month. $200 a month, that's it. That's about a dinner out for a couple and a movie, or skipping an evening once a month to save that money. If you're 20 years old right now and you're watching this is the best news you're going to hear all day, because you have one of the assets that money cannot buy, which is time. But if you waited until you're 25, same $1 million at 65, you're now looking at investing $325 a month. Still very manageable, of course, but you can already see the opportunity cost of putting off 5 years. At 30 years old, you're looking at roughly $485 a month. Now, we're getting into the realm of prioritizing this investment as opposed to skimming off the top of your paycheck that you've been budgeting for your essentials. At 35, you're looking at needing to pay roughly $735 a month to invest. Now we start seeing opportunity costs hurt a little bit, because you're investing more than 3 times what the 20-year-old investor would need to put in every single month for the same exact result. At 40, you're looking at needing to invest roughly $1,100 a month for that same $1 million at 65. At 45, you're roughly at almost $1,800 a month. Let that settle in for a second, because the guy who started at 20 only had to throw in a couple $100 a month. And the guy who waited until he was 45 is putting in almost 9 times that to get the same place. Same destination, a lot longer walk for the person who waited. And a big chunk of that walk was powered by the 25 years that he didn't invest, which is also a good lesson in opportunity costs, which is a whole nother section. Not that the 45-year-old was making stupid financial decisions with his cash, but rather he wasn't doing the thing that so many other people forget to do, which is to recognize the value of the opportunity cost of the present. Asking someone who is 45 to find additional $900 a month to meet his $1 million goal when he is 65 is asking him to take into account the cost of the 25 years that he didn't do something with his money, that he is now doing at 45. So if you're in your 20s or 30s and you're watching this and you're thinking, hey, I don't have any spirit change right now, I get it. And you need to hear this. You're not being asked to find the $900 a month. You're being asked to find the 200 or maybe even the 300 if you can. That number only really gets scary when you push it off for 25 years, because the additional amount that you need to invest every month will explode if you procrastinate. And if you can only find 150 bucks right now, fine, let's start with that. You don't need to maximize your contributions right now. You just need to get to the habit of investing so that your income grows, which it inevitably will. You don't have to scramble to invest this enormous amount of money every month because it's quite simple. The older you get, the more money you need to invest each month in order to meet your goals by retirement. You're already behind if you didn't start in your 20s. Me personally, I started at the age of 17, which is insanely early, but that doesn't matter, and this video is about you guys. So let's talk about what that money should go to, because obviously the only reason you need to invest that money is because it's going to make you more money. You don't have to do anything fancy here. You just need to invest in something that has reasonable expected return. And if you're not sure what that something is, you're probably going to want to talk to a financial advisor, because most people find that they're better off investing in a low-cost index fund, which represents like the total market, because you invest in a small piece of everything as opposed to gambling on individual stocks. Or if your employer offers a retirement match plan, it goes without saying that you want to hit that match, because in effect, by not doing so, you're leaving money on the table. The next best option is a Roth IRA, which offers the tax benefit of tax-free growth depending on how long you hold the investment. But again, I'm really just giving some very broad strokes here. And I know a lot of people in the comments are going to say, $1 million bucks, well, adjusted to inflation, that's going to be around 600,000. Well, they're absolutely right, but it really doesn't change anything. If you want to have 2 million or 3 million, it's going to take more money every month to get there. But the ratio is the exact same. You're going to need to put in a lot more if you waited until you're 40 or 45. Just like the guy who wanted to have $1 million at 65. If you wanted to retire with 2 million, it's going to take you roughly 2 times the amount of money we're talking about with the $1 million man. And then all of that additional money is entirely due to waiting. The thing is, in the future, you don't get a vote on that decision in the present because they aren't here. So when you're trying to decide if the discretionary spending is really worth it, you should be asking yourself if you can afford to not invest. Because in the future, you aren't going to have any say in that matter. This isn't negotiable because in the future, you cannot do anything about it once it's in the past. Anyways, so whatever you do, let it be known that if you take one lesson away from this video, it should be this. The number is small, but the window is short. So take advantage of the fact that your current you is your youngest and most powerful version when it comes to building wealth. Every year that you wait makes that number go up. You don't need to find some magical moment when you have more money to invest or when you suddenly have this perfect understanding of personal finance. All you need to do is get started now and take advantage of the fact that you can get more money to the table faster. The earlier you get in, the less opportunity cost to you is, because the future of you doesn't get involved in the equation. If this helped you think about your finances in a different way, please drop a like and subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.